So a lot of defense attorneys, they graduate from law school and they just open up their defense thing. But you have a history of being an investigator yourself. How did you start in the investigation business and where did you work?
Yeah, so it was actually before law school. This was the way I figured out that I wanted to become a criminal defense attorney. First I went to grad school for justice and public policy. Quickly realized that I didn't want to be sitting behind a desk all day doing research. So I ended up getting a job at the Washington, D.C. Public Defender's Office, where I was an investigator there.
Was there any training involved in that?
Yeah, there was extensive training. It's one of the best, if not the best, training program for criminal defense investigators in the country.
So take us through some of the curriculum.
Sure. So, well, one of the biggest things in D.C. and how it compares to Florida is that in Florida, as you might know, criminal defense attorneys have the opportunity to do depositions of witnesses and victims in a prosecution's case. So a deposition meaning that you get to sit down with a court reporter and the defense attorney gets to ask a bunch of questions of the witnesses before you go to trial. So in Florida, but way before trial, you know everything this witness is going to say, everything the victim's going to say. In Washington, D.C., and I don't know if the rules have changed since I lived there, but back when I was doing my investigations there, the defense was not entitled to depositions. So in order to figure out what the witnesses and the victim were going to say in trial, it was incumbent on the investigator to go out there and convince these witnesses to talk to them. So I was kind of the counterpart to the police detectives. I was going to the same witnesses, knocking on the same doors, but this time I had to knock on victims' doors and say, you know, hey, I'm helping to represent the guy who allegedly robbed you, whatever it might be. Please talk to me. And I had to get my foot in the door and convince them why they should talk to me when it really was not in their best interest to do so whatsoever. So the training in DC was really heavy on learning how to get your foot in the door and how to take written statements from these witnesses.